Hello, everyone. Welcome to Thought for Thursday. I am happy to be here today. No technical difficulties, no traffic, nothing to hinder me from being on camera and seeing you today. So I'm pretty happy about that. To finally talk about the topic that I've been teasing about for a week now, right? Yeah, I've been teasing about this for at least a week. So we're going to get to it today. But first of all, I hope everybody's doing good. I hope that everybody is healthy and being safe. And for those of you who have children who are going to school, I hope that all is well there, that you are, I know, back in the throes of things. It's another school year. Hard to imagine. I've been enjoying seeing all the first day of school pictures and reminiscing actually to my kids when it was their first day in school, first day in elementary, middle school, high school. And then the first days just kind of started waning away after that. But I love seeing the pictures and I love seeing the growth. And I'm happy seeing their faces. They are so happy to be going back. They miss that. I'm hoping that this year will be a little more friendly to them, that they will actually be able to spend time with one another. I know we're still hiding behind a mask. Many of us are still hiding behind a mask. If it's not one virus, it's something else. So I'm hoping that the kids will at least be a little more interactive this year and they won't have to worry too much about having to hide behind a mask all the time. They're still going to have to stay safe, but still, I'm hoping that things will be better for them this year. But anyway, so here we are. It's Thursday, and we're finally going to talk about that topic, pursuing purpose, specifically the push for purpose. It's funny because you hear that word so often. People throw it around so loosely, but that's not her purpose, or that's not in his purpose. And people really don't fully understand what it means to have a purpose. I say it all the time that God designed us to be here for a specific reason. We're all, first of all, to serve as a testament to Him and to serve as a vehicle for helping other people and for treating others the way that we want to be treated and for making mankind the way that he has designed it to be, for helping mankind to get back to remain the way he's designed it to be. We all have that piece of us, that piece of purpose, but it is different in the way that we all go about it. We may all be working towards similar things, but the things and the gifts and the direction that He's given us in order to make those gifts come to fruition and to use those gifts in the way that He desires for us to use them, that's all different. That's all different for everybody. So, why is it so difficult? Why is it so hard for us to truly understand purpose? For us to truly understand what it is that we were designed to do, why we're here, what we should be doing in life. What is it about life? What is it that we should be doing that's going to make us thrive in life? Because when you work in purpose, when you move in purpose, you live a life that is thriving. So, what is it? Why is there such a push for getting there? What is it that we're missing? What is the thing? What are some of the things that kind of hinder us that maybe we're looking at wrong? And the first thing I thought about when people think purpose, they think about what they do on a daily basis. So let's talk about that. We talk about profession and we look at it and think that our profession is our purpose. And that's not necessarily true for many of us. Many of us have our profession or we work in a certain profession because it's what we went to school to do. We were told that we would make good money if we went to school for engineering, or if we went to school to be a doctor or a lawyer, or some type of special technical skill that we could acquire. If we learn that, we were told that you do that, you make good money, and you get good at it, then that's your purpose right there. But nothing could be further from the truth in some instances. Many of us have learned trades. Many of us are working in positions that really are a means to an end for us. We work a certain position because we need to put food on the table, because we need to take care of bills, because we need to make a living. And in making our living, we do what we've been trained to do. We do what someone else has told us is a good thing for us to do. Many of us are doing things that, grandma said, I think you'd be good at that. And that's what you need to do. And because grandma said that, then you went on and did it. Now, grandma may have gotten a prophetic word, but grandma may have also just felt like, I think this is something good and I could see her doing it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you are supposed to do that. So, what I'm saying is that we often push so hard to reach our purpose because we're missing it, because we're misunderstanding what purpose really looks like. Because we work in a certain profession does not mean that that is what we're really here to do. Now, many people are actually working out in the area that they are supposed to work in. They are working engineering. They have a technical brain and they know that they work best there, and they feel that they can make a real difference in the world, and they're making a real impact in doing that profession. And that's where they're supposed to be. But many people are stuck because they're doing something just because it's a means to an end and not the real destiny that they are to pursue. So, what do? You sit down and you spend some time finding out what that might look like for you. Do you discount the skills that you have? No. Do you discount the things that you have been doing? Absolutely not. What you have to do, however, is spend some time in figuring out exactly what your destiny, your call looks like for you. And there are ways in which you can do that. And so that falls right in alignment with the second reason why there's such a push for purpose, because we really don't know what the definition of our purpose is. We don't know what that looks like. We think I'm passionate about this. That's got to be my purpose. We think I'm good at this, I'm really good at being able to gather groups. And so whatever I do, I know that my purpose is right in alignment with group gathering, even though it drives you absolutely crazy to have to organize anything where there is a group of people that need to come together. So we get bogged down then in understanding exactly what the definition of our purpose may look like, because we think that it must involve something that we're kind of good at doing. Again, it may very well involve that, but in many instances, we are good at things because we have to be. We have to be organized because that's the way we grew up. We grew up in a large family, and there had to be somebody there who organized things, or we'd never get anywhere or get anything done. Some of us are really good at being able to maneuver a certain amount of money and being able to stretch it over a certain number of projects, because growing up or just in life, in early life, or even now, finances are short, and we've become really good at being able to put specific budgets on specific needs. And for that reason, we're really good at working with numbers. And we think, well, that must be my purpose. But is that something that you really enjoy? Is that something that you feel that you're making a real impact with? Is it something that you really feel that you have been divinely here you've been put here divinely to do. That's something to think about. So, again, we push hard because we start confusing purpose with our profession. And sometimes we have our profession just because we need to make a living. We don't understand. We get confused by the definition because we're thinking, well, when you talk about passions or just something that I'm good at, that must be the definition of what purpose really looks like for me. That could be the truth, but in many instances is not. So, why else is it that we really have to push for purpose? What are some of those obstacles that we really come up against when we're looking at it? A huge one is a lack of courage. Many of us know, we have known for a while what area, what lane it is that we really should be driving in. But we continue to drive in the opposite direction because we're fearful of where that lane is really going to lead us. It's unknown, so we don't want to try that lane. We want to stick over here with something that's safe. We want to stick with the profession that we were told we were supposed to have or we're kind of good at. We want to stick with the stuff that we know how to do even in our sleep. But we still wonder why there is such a void in our lives and there's something that's missing. And it's because, again, we don't have the courage to go for that thing that is really in the lane that we should be driving in. It could require finances. We don't have the courage to pursue or to go request funding for a project because we don't want to fail. That's the biggest reason we're afraid. We don't want to fail. We don't have the courage to go forward because failure seems also encompassing and seems like the absolute worst thing that you can do. When in many instances, failure just helps you to learn and helps you to get to that next point and helps you to grow to the point where you have perfected that lane, perfected that drive, and know the exact direction in which it is you need to go. So, again, it's the profession that messes us up sometimes, and we don't have a real clear definition of what purpose looks like for us. And then some of us know, we just don't have the courage to pursue it. That curvy lane looks a lot more dangerous and a lot more scary to you than that straight one you've been running on all your life. And finally, what is something else? What is another reason why we do not pursue purpose? Why there's such a push for us to get at our real purpose? And that reason is because of support. Many of us don't have the right people around us. We don't have people speaking life to us instead of negativity. We don't have people who want to help us to go in a direction, to pursue a vision that we have, to pursue that vision that's attached to your real purpose. We don't have support around it. So, for that reason, we remain quiet and refuse to move on it. For that reason, we tell ourselves that it can't be real, not if no one else really sees it. When no one is supposed to see your purpose, the real person who's supposed to see it is you. That's another reason why there's such a push for purpose. We don't have the support around the things that we need to do. We don't have the emotional support that we need to pursue the things that we really want to pursue in order to thrive in life. So, what do you do? What do you do when the push just seems totally overwhelming? You have all these factors that are just hitting you from every which way, and you feel as though you're never going to thrive in life. You want to figure out how to do it, but you really just don't know how. You want to take a chance. You kind of think it's your profession. It feels like it could be some of the things that you're really passionate about. And it might be this lane over here, but that lane right there is real comfortable and you're real tired after working every day and you don't want to come home and figure out any other way to travel. What do you do? Do you continue to kind of live in that mediocre place where this might be what I'm supposed to do, maybe it's not? Or do you kind of branch out and you figure out exactly where you're supposed to be? So, what you need to do is to first admit that where you are may not be where you're supposed to be. That's the first step. Number two is, of course, doing the work to find out where that place is. There are things that you can do. There are people that you can work with. I work with people who constantly, consistently come to me wanting to make changes. And the very first thing that we talk about is let's make sure that the change that you want to make is in alignment with where you're supposed to be, your real purpose, your real thing in life that's going to help you to thrive. So you need to admit, yeah, maybe I'm not where I'm supposed to be. And then you need to do the work around getting there. And then you need to implement. You have to get the courage to implement working in your purpose once you discover exactly what that is. So, I talked to you today in almost 16 minutes here about the things that are really kind of making you push, feeling like you push every day to figure out what your purpose is, getting confused on the profession and the definition, and not having the courage and the support you need. And then I told you that you have to admit that you may not really be where you're supposed to be and be willing to do the work to get there. And then, of course, once you figure it out, have the courage to implement it. Those are the steps. And this is the time. We're in the last quarter of the year, guys. This is the time to make a move. You want to be straight for the new year, right? You want to be straight now. Who wants to put a time limit on, let's get free in 2023 when you can do it right now in 2022? Now is the time. Make it a priority for you to put yourself up front to the place where you're going to be willing to thrive, to the place where you're going to be able to thrive. Finally Me is starting back up this month. I started to say next month. I just realized it is September 1st. It's starting back up next month. I'm going to go ahead and put the link up here if you want to go on and take a look at that. That is the link. I'll make sure to put it in the description section here on Facebook, as well as on LinkedIn and over on Instagram. The link is in my bio if you want to further find out about Finally Me. That program is the foundation, honestly, for everything that I do. Because in order to make a career change, in order to figure out if you want to be an entrepreneur, in order to figure out, if you want to, elevate and do better in the position where you are, you want to advocate for yourself more. If you want to figure out, is there something I want to change in my personal life? Are there financial or health things that I need to change? Understanding how you tick and understanding what's really at your core is where you need to start. I start at the basics before we start veering off into any of that stuff. And then Finally Me, those are the things that we do. We talk about the limiting beliefs that are holding you back from getting to where you're really supposed to go in life. We talk about those, and we talk about strategies for eliminating them. We talk about living the life that you desire. We talk about ways in which you can thrive, putting you at the front of the line and taking you off of the back burner. We talk about the process for understanding your behaviors and understanding your relationships, your relationship with yourself and your relationship with others, because that again is at the core of being able to make changes in your life. If you don't have a good relationship with you, certainly you're not going to be able to change you in any significant way. If the relationships around you aren't where they need to be, surely you're not going to be able to make changes in any significant way. We already talked about how a lack of support really does nothing for you in carrying out your vision and understanding your purpose. We talk about all of those things. Yes, we do some assessments as well, some assessments that have been known to help you to figure how your behavior actually relates to the kinds of things that you do in life. We have those assessments. All assessments that we do are used as tools only, because what we look at is how you feel, where you are, and then we start taking those things and we break them down so that we can build to the point where your core is stable, so that you can go out and work and thrive in the areas in which you need to thrive. So that's it, Thought for Thursday. We went a little over. I apologize, but I'm bringing to you actually things that I wanted to bring last week and this week. Last week, we were going to talk about the push, and this week, we were going to talk about how we can push actually and push away some of those other things and start pulling for ourselves and moving in the direction of purpose. All right. So that's it, guys. Again, I will leave the information here. I hope you all are doing good. We're coming up. Hey, Kizzy, good to see you. I see Janine and Latasha and Mike over on Instagram. Thank y'all so much for joining. I'll make sure to leave the recording here on Instagram and Facebook, of course, and LinkedIn, so you can see it again. I'm so glad that you were here. Remember, guys, your life is, of course, worth the living. Your life is worth the living. For me, it's because of who I am in Christ. And for me, I have a purpose that He has designed me to fill, and you do too. And to operate in your purpose means that in life you will thrive and not just survive. To operate in purpose means that you will thrive and not just survive. All right. Good night. You guys have a great long weekend. Stay safe and be good.